Today we will discuss about a small repertory, that is a repertory of antipsoric medicines. Uh, but before that we will revise the some part which was covered in previous lectures. So we discussed in detail about case taking, then how we should take the case in acute diseases as well as in chronic diseases. So it was given in our organelle of medicine from aphorism number 83 up to aphorism number 104. Then symptomatology, the origin Greek word is symptoma, and the symptoma means anything that happens. Analysis, what is analysis? Before doing repertorization, we do analysis. After taking the case, we do analysis of the symptoms, then evaluation of the symptoms, then form the totality of the case, and then we convert the totality into repertorial totality, and then we get the, after repertorization, have to find out those symptoms from repertorial totality into the repertory, and with the help of those symptoms we get a group of similar remedies, and from that group of similar remedies we have to select one exact simillimum. So if for this all this process to find out the simillimum, the first step is case taking, which is given from aphorism number 83 to aphorism number 104. Then the second step after case taking is analysis. Do analysis of symptoms means classification or grouping of symptoms. We have to classify the symptoms, we have to group the symptoms according to the philosophy of which repertory we are using for the purpose of repertorization. According to that repertory, according to that philosophy behind that repertory, we have to analyze, we have to group the symptoms. Then evaluation means grading or ranking of symptoms. We have to grade the symptoms, how according to their importance we have to grade the symptoms. Then for gradation, it is also depend on the repertory we are going to use for repertorization. As for example, in Kent repertory only 3 grades are given. In BTPB there is 5 grades are given. In this way, in different repertories, different gradations are given, as well as we discuss about in previous lectures, Bell's diarrhea, Berry Psi repertory. In that also, different grades are given. Then different grades to remedies, as well as in some repertories, different grades to symptoms are also given. So in this way, the evaluation or grading or ranking of symptom according to their importance, grading of medicine according to their importance, it is also very much important.
मॅम तुम्ही म्यूट केलंय.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Extremely sorry. So analysis, we are here. I think extremely sorry. Mute झालं माझ्याकडनं. Analysis and evaluation. So in analysis, we have to classify or group the symptoms. In evaluation, we have to grade, we have to rank, or we do the symptoms according to their importance. In we discuss about different gradations in different repertories, and these gradations are given according to their importance in that symptom, importance of the remedy in that symptom. Then gradation, degree and rank, these words are nothing but the same, but these words they are used by different homeopaths uh, in their while repertorizing the case or while giving values to the symptoms as well as remedies. These terms refer to evaluation of respective symptoms, and it was first, as we all know, that this concept of gradation, it was first introduced by Dr. Boni Hussain, and then further developments, because first time Dr. Boni Hussain, he introduced the concept of gradation, and he introduced the 5 grades to the medicines according to their importance. But further some developments, some changes which are made by Dr. Kent, Dr. Herring and Dr. Miller according to importance of the symptoms, according to for the easy purpose of repertorization, for the easy purpose of for the homeopaths, they, to avoid the confusion in homeopathic practitioner, so they develop many changes in the concept of or in the gradations of Dr. Boni Hussain. Yeah, Dr. Kent, he applies the word gradation, grading or grade in his repertory. Then Dr. Boning Hussain and Dr. Miller, they applied the word rank, and Dr. Herring, he applied the word degree. So according to the importance of the symptoms, according to importance of that symptom in that medicine, Dr. Kent, Dr. Boning Hussain Miller, Dr. Herring, they give they gave the medicines in different grades, in different ranks, as we said, the first grade, second grade, third grade medicine, the first rank, second rank, or third rank medicine, or the first degree medicine, second degree, third degree medicine. So the meaning is same, but they apply the different words for the same meaning. Then, according to Dr. Hahnemann, he gave importance to general symptoms, then strange, rare, uncommon, and characteristic symptoms. Dr. Kent, he gave importance to general symptoms first, then particular symptoms, and then common symptoms. We all know these things. Then Dr. Boni Hussain, he gave importance to complete symptom, and Dr. Bori, he gave importance to basic and determinative symptoms. So in this way, according to homeopath, according to the author of each repertory, the concept of giving importance of the symptoms in that case, it differs. So if we are using Hahnemann's method, then we have to give importance to general symptoms first, then PQRS according to Dr. Hahnemann, that is strange, rare, uncommon and characteristic symptoms. if we are going to repertorize according to Dr. Kent's repertory, then we have to give importance to general, particular and common symptoms. First, we have to give importance to general symptoms, in that mental general, then physical general, then we go towards characteristic particulars, and then if necessary, we consider the common symptoms. Then, according to Boni Hussain, we have to give importance to complete symptoms, that is location, sensation, modality and concomitant. And according to Boric, we have to give importance to basic and determinative symptom. So in this way, according to the repertory which we are using, we have to give importance to the symptoms. Then pathognomic symptom. What is pathognomic symptom? It is nothing but the symptoms of the disease helps in diagnosis. So these are also important symptoms, especially when in advanced pathological conditions these symptoms are necessary, because according to diagnosis, according to the clinical condition, we have to choose that clinical rubric and find out the most indicated group of remedies for that clinical condition or for that diagnostic condition. Then non-pathognomic or determinative symptom of the patient. Then concomitant symptoms, which was introduced first time by Dr. Boni Hussain. Clinical symptoms, which was introduced by Dr. Herring. Then eliminative symptoms, which was introduced by M.L. Tyler. Negative general means absence of expected symptoms. Then keynote symptoms, highlighted by Guernsey. So in this way, according to the author, we have to give importance to the symptoms according to their philosophy. Then repertory. What is repertory? Repertory, re means again and piraire means bring forth. In French, performance or company storehouse. In 18th century, it means armamentarium, where armaments were arranged in a fixed definite order at right places. Rubric came from Greek word rubrica, means heading or guidelines. Repertory, it is index of symptoms of our materia medica, which was arranged systematically. The first Repertorian, as the first father of repertory was Dr. Boni Hussain, but the first Repertorian was Dr. Hahnemann, because though his repertory, that is Fragmenta de Viribus Medicamentorum Positivis, it was not yet published till today, then also it was the first repertory which was completed in 1805 in Latin words or in Latin. So the first Repertorian was Dr. Hahnemann, and his first repertory was Fragmenta de Viribus Medicamentorum Positivis in Latin by Dr. Hahnemann. It was completed in 1805, considered as a mother of repertories, because according to the construction of this repertory, by making some changes, the other repertories, they are constructed. So it was called as mother of all repertories. It is having two parts. The first part is materia medica part, and the second part is index to materia medica. So in this repertory, that is Hahnemann's first repertory, Fragmenta de viribus medicamentorum positivis. In that there are about, it is having two parts. The first part is materia medica part and the second part is index to materia medica. In this repertory of Dr. Hahnemann, it included about 27 remedies and having 300 pages. Then in 1816, preamble to materia medica pura. Then in 1817, Latin repertory, which was not yet published, which is written in 4 volumes and having 4,239 pages. As we know, the father of repertory, he was Dr. Boning Hussain. The first repertory prepared and published by Boning Hussain in 1832, that is Repertory of Antipsorica, prefaced by Hahnemann. Then the first English repertory, that is Allentown Manual by Constantine Herring at Allentown Academy in 1838. So this was the first English repertory. Before that, most of the repertories, they were in Latin language. So the first English repertory was Allentown Manual, which was written by Dr. Constantine Herring at Allentown Academy in 1938. So it is called as Allentown Manual. Then the first French repertory, that is a homeopathic repertory of symptomatology by Lafitte in 1843. The first Indian repertory was Manual of Homeopathy by Dr. Muller in 1885. These are the questions on these slides. It was asked frequently: who is the father of repertory? Who is the first Repertorian? What is the name of the repertory which was published, which was completed first? When it was completed? Which was the first repertory which get published and when it was get published? Then which is the first English repertory, which is the first French repertory, which is the first Indian repertory? So these questions are asked in oral examination, so you have to know about all these things. Then important years in the history evolution of repertories. So these we discussed, or this topic was also completed, that is in history of repertory. In 1805, Fragmenta de viribus medicamentorum positivis, it was completed. Then in 1816, Preamble to Materia Medica Pura. In 1817, unpublished Latin repertory. Then in 1832, the first repertory which was get published was Repertory of Antipsoric Remedies by Dr. Boning Hussain, and the preface of this repertory which was written by Dr. Hahnemann. Then in 1833, the first alphabetical pocket repertory which was published in Leipzig. 1833, Weber Pasteur's Repertory of Purely Pathognomic Effects, prefaced by Dr. Hahnemann, which is having 376 pages. Then in 1835, Boningussen's Repertory of Medicines which are not Antipsoric, or Repertory of Asoric Remedies. It was also called as Repertory of Asoric Remedies. Then in 1835, Dr. Jar's Symptom Repertory, 3 volumes in German language. In 1836, Boningussen's an attempt at showing the relative kinship of homeopathic medicines. Then in 1837, a repertory published at Stuttgart. In 1838, a repertory published in Allentown Academy by Dr. Herring. In 1840, Ruoff's a repertory of nosology, which is having 254 pages and which was translated by Oki Humphrey and published in English in America in 1845. Then in 1843, Lafitte, one of the first Persian homeopaths, the homeopathic repertory of symptomatology, first original repertory in French, which is having 975 pages. Then in 1846, Dr. Boningussen's masterpiece, that is Therapeutic Pocket Book, was published. In 1847, Hempel's Boningussen's Repertory, Hempel Boningussen Repertory, which was published. In 1848, Clofer Muller's Systematic Alphabetical Repertories. In 1849, US Repertory, which is having 367 pages. 1851, Bryant's An Alphabetical Repertory, which was published in New York. In 1853, Possard's Repertory of Characteristic Homeopathic Remedies. 1854, Lippes Repertory of Comparative Materia Medica. 1859, Cypher's Repertory by English Homeopaths. Enlarged edition was published in 1878. In 1873, Berry's Eye Repertory was published in England. 1874, Granier of Nimes Homoeolexicon in 2 volumes. In 1879, Lippes Repertory of More Characteristic Symptom of Materia Medica. In 1880, T.F. Allen's Symptom Register. In 1881, Herring's Analytical Repertory. Then in 1890, Gentry's Repertory of Concordance in 6 volumes. 1896, Nair's Repertory of Herring's Guiding Symptom. 1897, Kent's Repertory of Homeopathic Materia Medica. Its first edition was in 1897 in loose sheet form, book form in 1899. Then the second edition of this book was 1908. The third edition of Kent Repertory was published in 1924. The fourth edition was published in 1935. Fifth edition was published in 1945. Sixth edition, which was published in 1957. The first Indian edition, which was published in 1961. And in this way, then the Repertory of Eyes by Dr. Berich, it was published in 1873. Repertory of Desire and Aversion by Guernsey was published in 1879. Repertory of Fevers by H.C. Allen. Repertory of Foot Sweat by O.M. Drake in 1880. Repertory of Modalities by Worcester, Repertory of Hemorrhoid by Guernsey, Repertory of Respiratory Organ by Lutez in 1883, Repertory of Intermittent Fever by W.A. Allen, Repertory of Sensation, As If by Holcomb, Uterine Therapeutics by Henry Minton in 1884, and Repertory of Cough and Expectoration by Lee and Clark in 1892, Repertory of Digestive System by Arkell. In this way, the different repertories were published till in different years, and it was also called as different eras of repertory. So this is post-Kentian era, and many times the short note was asked on post-Kentian era. In post-Kentian era means after publication of Kent repertory, after the time of Dr. Kent, which repertories was get published and how they get published. So the Clark's repertory, that is a clinical repertory, which was published in 1905. Then Boger Boningsen's characteristics and repertory, which was published in 1905. Boric's clinical repertory, which was published in 1927. Then Boger's card repertory, which was published in 1924. Then Repertory with Synoptic Key, which was published in 1931. Then Times of Remedies and Moon Phases was published in 1931. Then Robert's Sensation As If, which was published in 1937. Robert's Rheumatic Medicine was published in 1939. Then Jugal Kishore's Card Repertory was published in 1959. Phatak's Concise Repertory was published in 1963. Then Barthel and Will Clunker's Synthetic Repertory was published in 1973. Hunsley's Jost Kent's Repertorium Generale was published in 1990. Robin Murphy's Homeopathic Medical Repertory was published in 1993, and its Indian edition was published in 1994. Then Frederick Troyan's Synthesis Repertory, its fifth version, was published in 1993. Then Roger von Zandvoort's Complete Repertory was published in 1996. Shashikant Tiwari's Homeopathy and Childcare was published in 1998. J.P.S. Bakshi's Phonics Repertory was published in 1919. Roger von Zandvoort's Repertorium Universale was published in 2003. Then Repertory of Antipsorics we discussed today with this small repertory, that is Repertory of Antipsorics. The full name of this repertory was a systematic alphabetical repertory of homeopathic remedies. This was the full name of Repertory of Antipsorics, which was the first repertory which was published in homeopathy, and its first edition is having 3 editions. The first edition, which was published in 1832, the second edition, it was published in 1833, and the third edition, it was published in 1900. The preface of this book was written by Dr. Hahnemann, and this was the first repertory which was approved by Dr. Hahnemann. Before Dr. Boning Hussain, many homeopaths, many followers of Dr. Boning Hussain, they try their level best, but Dr. Hahnemann, he was not approved any repertory because he found some lacunas in those repertories, but he approved this repertory first time, so it was called as first repertory approved by Dr. Hahnemann. Then translation to English in 1900 by Dr. C.M. Boger, and this repertory, it is having in this repertory the 4 grades are given. About 52 drugs are included in this repertory, that is 50 antipsoric medicines, 1 antipsychotic medicine, that is Puja, and 1 anti-syphilitic medicine, that is Mercurius or Mercsol. In this way, total number of medicines are 52 in this book. In this work, Dr. Boning Hussain given the expiry date of homeopathic medicines, medicated globule as 18 to 20 years. Also explained the duration of action of medicines. So this was also the unique work of Dr. Boning Hussain, that he gave the duration of action of medicine, as well as he first time introduced the relationship of remedies to the homeopathy. So this to introduce or to give the new concept, that is relationship of remedy. This was also very important concept, and this was first time introduced by Dr. Boning Hussain. And in this work, that is Repertory of Antipsoric Remedies, given the expiry date of homeopathic medicine or medicated globules as 18 to 20 years, as well as he explained the duration of action of medicines. In this repertory, the main rubrics are given in bold letters, and sub-rubrics, they are given in italic letters. So there are 2 type of typography was used to write down the rubrics, to write down the symptoms. The main rubric, it was given or it was written in bold letters, and sub rubrics in front of that rubric we found it in italic letters, so that we can easily understand which is the rubric and which is sub rubric of that rubric. So in this way, the first repertory, that is Repertory of Antipsoric Medicine or Repertory of Antipsorics, which was written by Dr. Boning Hussain, and as Dr. Boning Hussain from 1830 onwards, he came in close contact with Dr. Hahnemann. He liked the concepts of Dr. Hahnemann, and by following all these concepts of Dr. Hahnemann, he tried to write down some index of symptom, and Dr. Hahnemann, he was very satisfied by his work, and his repertory, that is Repertory of Antipsoric Medicine, it was published, it was approved by Dr. Hahnemann, and it was published. Then it was given as, or it was approved as it was approved by Dr. Hahnemann. The